The One Piece community has become one of the most toxic spaces for anime online. I wish this weren't true, but it's gotten to a point where the fans are actively turning people off from enjoying the series. However, it wasn't always like this. In fact, quite the opposite. The fandom used to be one of the most welcoming and friendly groups of people you could find on the internet. One that would encourage you to engage with the story at your own pace, not one that would discourage you from it entirely. Has it become completely toxic? Of course not. The heart of the fanbase is still very much alive. It's still filled with amazing people that simply want to spread their love for One Piece. But those voices have mostly become overshadowed by an undeniable wave of elitism and negativity. I love One Piece and I love the fans, which is exactly why I want to create a space where we can highlight the problems connected to that community. So let's talk about it. I first got into One Piece during the tail end of quarantine 2020. I think about that first year or two of being a fan a lot. It's relatively recent compared to most. I know some people that have been watching or reading One Piece since they were kids. But the reason why I bring up those last couple of years is because I've noticed a lot of change between now and then. I feel like I managed to get into One Piece right before it really started to take off in the West. I distinctly remember it still being relatively unknown to many people in the anime community. Don't get me wrong, the fanbase was definitely still really big at the time, but One Piece was on the verge of multiple surges in popularity that would go on to mirror the success of the series in Japan. Nowadays, we have a Netflix live action, manga volumes in Target, and a Luffy balloon for the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. We're currently at a point where someone who's never seen an anime at all could know who Luffy and even the great Buggy the Clown are. On the one hand, that overwhelming popularity has been awesome. One Piece has never been more accessible than it is now, and it's only going to get better. But on the other hand, it's enabled a certain mindset that One Piece is objectively the best thing there is. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with thinking that. It's an incredible story that's truly one of a kind, and it stands at the pinnacle of its medium. Its widespread financial and critical success is proof of that. However, it becomes a problem when you try to force that point of view on anyone who thinks otherwise. The most prevalent reputation of One Piece fans is one of aggressive elitism. Believe it or not, when you tell someone that their favorite story sucks compared to yours, it doesn't really make them want to hear you out. This sort of mindset isn't exclusively a One Piece thing, it's actually indicative of the current state of online anime spaces in general. People treat their favorite manga like a home sports team or a street gang. But when you combine that with a manga that's a global hit, it creates a sense of entitlement and justification to their hostility. All that does is make One Piece way less appealing to the average person. It gives us a bad rap and puts new viewers in a position where they naturally expect too much. During those first few years of when I was getting into One Piece, the community was way more laid back. They were still incredibly persistent, but they were far less single-minded and overzealous. There was very little gatekeeping. Instead, they were largely understanding of others' hesitant attitudes and differing opinions. It was this hospitable disposition that convinced me to actually give the series a shot with an open mind, despite its intimidating length. It's not like everyone was holding hands and singing Kumbaya, but a lot of the problems that I'm talking about weren't as bad. Again, I can't stress enough that I am not referring to the community as a whole. There are so many wonderful voices, and thankfully, the toxicity is only attributed to a very vocal minority. With that said, there's another problem that comes with the increased popularity and success. Unlike the last problem, this is one that affects the spaces already within the fandom. I'm not talking about agendas or power scaling. Those are both a lot of fun and keep the fandom alive. No, I'm talking about the infamous Oda's Angels. It's a term used to describe those that believe One Piece is unquestionably perfect 100% of the time. Rabid dogs that'll tear you apart if you so much as suggest that maybe, just maybe, Skypiea is a little bit slow. On the flip side, you have people that respond to that excessive positivity with equally excessive criticism. Those that shudder at the thought of admitting that sometimes Oda does know how to cook. Obviously, people can and should have their own opinions, however strong they may be, but it's unbelievably frustrating trying to have conversations with people that either never want to enjoy the story for what it is, or have seemingly never experienced another story at all. Even worse, both sides are always trying to be louder than the other. Social media only encourages the issue. Platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Reddit amplify extremes because of their high engagement. YouTube is pretty chill, relatively speaking. I personally feel like this is the best place to interact with the community because there's a good variety of opinions with mostly civil and respectful discourse. TikTok isn't too bad either, but the comment sections are a nightmare. In short, the internet sucks. Everyone wants to divide themselves based on opinions and confront rather than discuss when it comes to those that they disagree with. Anime culture is no different. When you splice that with massive popularity, radical emotions, and a pervasive sense of entitlement, you end up with a fan base that leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. Not because everyone sucks, just because the ones who do tend to be more aggressive. It's the case with Star Wars, it's the case with the MCU, and it's the case with One Piece. So why bring this up? Well, like I said before, I love this community. I know that I opened the video by stating it's one of the most toxic anime fandoms, but I have to admit that was a bit of a lie. In reality, I think that One Piece has some of the greatest fans of all time. It's just that we've become associated with a toxic identity as a result of the influx of new fans and the ever-changing internet culture. There is truth to that identity, but it's not the only truth. Unfortunately, too many people get turned away from ever seeing past that identity. I'm not necessarily expecting this video to inspire much change for any of these problems. With the internet being the way it is, I kind of think this is just how things are. One Piece will continue to get more popular and the toxicity will probably follow suit. However, I do think it's worth at least trying to make this community the best that it can possibly be. There's nothing wrong with wanting other people to watch One Piece and or feeling frustrated when they don't connect with it. Although it's important to understand that One Piece is not for everybody, and there are many understandable reasons for why someone might not be interested. Asserting superiority or attacking someone's taste only makes the anime more off-putting than it already is. Furthermore, there needs to be more acceptance of different perspectives inside of the fan base. Something that comes with a story that has such a large demographic is that its audience will have an endless variety of opinions and interpretations. It's part of what makes connecting with One Piece fans so special. There are those whose favorite character is Tashigi, those who hate Marineford, those who love Syrup Village, and those who think Foxy is the best villain in the series. Everyone has their own unique relationship to the story. When you try to combat differences with extreme positivity or negativity, it discourages individuality and creates a stubborn echo chamber. So embrace diversity, reject obstinance, and most of all, I do believe there's hope for this community to be better. Even though toxicity is growing, it's still accompanied by friendly voices. At the end of the day, they'll no doubt continue to cut through all of that noise. I just hope that in the future, those voices can be heard more frequently by those on the outside looking in. If you're still watching, let me know some of your experiences with the fanbase, good and bad. Let this be a place to openly discuss the community, what you love and hate about it. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content soon. That's all for now though. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.